Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say.
You're going too fast.
From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water.
Big water.
What island was he talking about?
I have no idea, but hey, here we are.
I think he was
right on time.
I think he was playing in the bathtub.
Was it? And he had a little island?
Yeah.
What was
Lego set.
all right. Lego island.
It was Gilligan's Island set.
I don't get it.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues. Someone forgot to plug in a cord.
Oh,
Steve.
That's not true. There were cords plugged in everywhere that needed to be.
Yeah, I'm blaming
It
Steve.
was just the wrong cord.
It's March 15th, 2018. We're in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City, Nate. Where?
Mumbai.
That's not really a country. That's a city.
Nobody said anything about a country.
I said we're
If
in
you
Liberty City already.
Yeah, Mumbai. It's a
A city within a city?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll let you have that. We're going to have a good show. We're going to have an attorney, Dean Greenblatt, on to discuss a couple of Second Amendment firearm cases. Probably maybe up after the break or sooner. We don't know for sure. Let's see. What?
Okay.
Well, I'm just teasing him with that. We'll move on.
Oh,
hey,
okay. Don't tell him.
do you hear about the gun that walked into a bar and asked for a couple of shots?
Jeez. Oh, no, I didn't hear about that.
He stayed until he got blasted.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So Nate's dad is really big into Boy Scouts, and he won a Boy Scout of America award for outstanding service. And what else was it for? Because he hasn't been caught yet?
It wasn't. I don't know exactly what it was. I wasn't prepared for that.
I know. I wanted to surprise you and give kudos to your dad.
Yeah.
Well done.
Proud of him. Well deserved.
He's a good man, even though he hasn't been caught yet. But
All right.
someday. You wanted to talk about daylight savings time. I hate it.
No, I didn't.
You have it there. It's in the prep. I didn't put it there.
So?
Okay. Second Amendment March.
No, the thing about daylight savings time is every year there's a bill that's introduced to eliminate it or to stay on daylight savings time always or never be on
federal
it
or state.
Both always, but
yeah.
this was Marco Rubio.
Yeah, some
sponsoring
states have
some
changed.
legislation.
Just this year, some states have.
But every single year, somebody introduces it. It's
Right.
like just stop it.
Well, they introduce
You're not winning any votes.
Constitutional carry too.
And assault weapons ban. Every year, it's the same stuff.
It's got to look like they're doing something so they can justify their $180,000.
Well, I think I'll vote for Marco Rubio just because he introduced this legislation.
You can't vote for him.
I can vote for anybody I want.
No, you really can't. If that were true, we would have better leaders.
First of all, I can.
No, you really can't. Well,
Why?
you could write him in, I guess.
I could write him in or
yeah.
go to Florida and vote illegally.
You could do that.
I
want you to do that.
I would never do that. If I do it, I'll make sure to announce it on the show first.
Yeah, voter fraud.
And record.
Yeah, you doing it.
Yep.
That'll be good.
Good.
Big school walkout yesterday in support of gun control.
Ah, that was yesterday, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah.
The Parkland city school there, where the shooting took place, they were actually accompanied by an armed drill team.
Yeah.
So
because they have junior ROTC.
So no one saw the irony in that, I guess.
Well, they're like military.
Did your daughter have a walkout?
The school did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It was organized by a high schooler who joined the community page just to post about it and make a point that this is in memorial to the people that died in the shooting.
That's
this is
appropriate.
not about gun rights.
Okay. But then,
photographed all over the place wearing an anti-gun shirt.
Sure.
And making statements like, we shouldn't have to feel not safe in our classrooms and we need to change things.
Yeah.
So, come on. Give me a break. And obviously, and it doesn't matter. I mean, the problem is whether they thought it was about gun rights or not, they were going to be turned into a political message.
Absolutely.
And there's photos all over. Look at all of these students standing up for gun control.
Yeah.
Whether
they believed it or
look,
not.
honestly, I think most of the students
Give a rat's ass.
don't care, don't
Right.
understand, thought it was awesome to leave class.
Right. Well, they felt a part of something, and that's good. And feel like you're going to make a difference.
Listen,
That's
I think it's great.
euphoric.
I think it's great if young people are going to speak up, get involved, learn about things, have a say in the political process.
Right.
Absolutely.
But the problem is they don't understand anything.
Some of
about
them
the
do.
issue.
Some of them do for sure.
Very little.
Some of them do. I think they absolutely do. My daughter, I didn't force her to do anything. She stayed in her classroom. Her and 3 other students.
Good for
Yeah,
her.
absolutely. So that was good. I mean, like I said, I let her decide. I just wanted, I told her she needs to actually look into it and know what
Right.
she's doing.
Decide what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Minnesota had an incident where they had a walkout day, and there was one student there who had a sign that said, "Guns don't kill people. People kill people." And he was immediately approached by school staff, asked to leave, put the sign down. He shouted out, "First Amendment, check it in the Supreme Court, First Amendment." And they said, "Our policy says if you want to do anything like this, you got to give us 24-hour notice so we can approve it." Well, they wouldn't have approved it.
yeah, of course
So
not.
he said, "Well, okay, I'll."
Students, I don't know where they are, but they're hoping to plan a pro-gun sort of
Yeah,
protest
we'll see
or
how
walkout
that
at
goes.
school. We'll see how that goes over and
Yeah.
if it gets the support of the schools. Local, I think it was Portland, Michigan. They didn't allow kids to leave. They said if you were going to take part in the walkout, you had to go to an assembly where they had a discussion about things not gun control. 10 students actually left, went out in the parking lot or whatever, and received 1 hour detention
Yeah.
for leaving the
Symbolic.
yeah.
Let's see. I heard there were a lot of looters in some areas of the country.
Looters? I don't know about looters.
Oh, yeah. They showed pictures of a mall that was destroyed, a strip mall where students crashed the mall and went
How
in
did
there.
they get to a mall? It was right next to the school. They only had 17 minutes.
I guess.
How did they
Not-
get
I
there?
don't think every school was.
I
think
thought
every
that
school
was. I
different.
thought that was it. I thought it was
Yeah.
17 minutes.
I don't know. A minute for every victim.
The prep page says lotters.
I know what it says.
Okay, lotters in some areas. Yeah.
Apparently, that's
yeah,
a
I
word.
mean, we
'cause
saw
it didn't
saw
correct
some
it.
videos of the students tearing down an American flag, and
Yeah. Listen,
Cool.
there were some arrests I read too, of the students. So,
it's going to happen. Look,
course.
I mean, whatever.
but we got to listen to the kids because they're responsible and intelligent.
Well, I think we should
They're
listen.
They're our future.
I think we should listen, but that doesn't mean they're right. That's what's annoyed me so much is that the students do this. If you say, no, you're wrong, or this is my opinion, then everyone's, oh, why are you being so mean to the children?
You want children to
Well,
die?
they can either they're children and they can
Defend themselves with an argument.
no, they're either children and they shouldn't be part of the conversation, or they're old enough to understand and be part of the conversation, and they should actually be part of the conversation, not just a one-sided, we're students, we can say whatever we want and have, no response.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a whole political party.
The Republicans?
Yeah.
And the Libertarians? The Libertarian Socialists?
Yeah, that's actually a classification of politics. Like,
I think I know a few Libertarian Socialists.
yeah, I do too. Man, I couldn't believe it. I was looking up Tolstoy, Leo Tolstoy.
And who doesn't do that?
Well, that's it's the way I am. And I looked at his political views, and on Wikipedia, the whole thing was a libertarian socialist, and that's apparently how he identified, which believes in sort of anarchy and self-rule, and doesn't believe that the government should get involved in stuff. So I don't know how you can be a socialist along with that.
That's
but
weird.
It's a weird classification.
Mm-hmm.
Miami police had a gun buyback. They posted on Facebook. A lot of people reported them for selling guns on Facebook.
Look,
I was one of them.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. Facebook policy clearly says that you cannot make a post about buying or selling guns.
Right.
And this post was very clearly about buying guns.
Yes.
They offer $50 per gun or more,
Yeah.
depending on the caliber
Up to
and
200, I think,
whatnot.
or
yeah,
$100 or something.
for like an AR-15, you
Yeah.
get like $100 or $2.
So I reported them for violation of their Facebook
And they took
policy.
it down because they're consistent.
They did not, but they did respond to me with several paragraphs explaining why they were going to keep it up.
Okay,
And they gave me options on if I didn't like it, I could block them.
block
So
the
basically,
Miami
they
PD.
gave me the big middle finger.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, get over it.
Yep. That's
What?
funny.
Well, it was sad.
Well, what did you expect?
Oh,
I mean,
expected-
really?
I expected
Yeah.
that. I didn't expect a response.
Well, yeah, they always respond.
I don't think I've ever reported anyone.
I'm still waiting for my response.
Yeah, you didn't get a response.
Not yet. Maybe they're going to block it based on my feedback.
So, Gabby Gifford,
Oh, where are we? Oh, there
muzzle
we are.
loaders.
Muzzle loaders for... Oh.
Don't say that.
that.
Her group has been changed now to just Giffords, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I think it's Giffords.
Giffords?
Yeah, that's her name of her organization.
The Giffords?
Yeah, no, or just Gifford.
They just call themselves gifts.
They're gifts to humanity.
Gifts?
Well, no, they just just do
gift.
this and they go back and they do it again.
Yeah.
They're gifts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's funny.
listen,
I was thinking of gift.
isn't that the entire anti-gun movement?
It is.
Do something,
Yeah, and
do it
repeat.
again, do it again, do it again. Same arguments over and over and over again.
Well, they had 9 examples of firearms or firearm products that they feel are a danger to society.
9?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Certain kinds of ammunition.
Firearms or firearms products.
Yeah. Trigger devices that
Propane
increase the
accessories.
rate of speed.
Okay.
High capacity shotguns.
Yeah, that's a
All
a big
AK and AR style pistols with stabilizing braces.
okay.
I know someone that may or may not have one of those. And get this.
Until that boating accident.
Right. And muzzle loaders.
Well, for sure. For
Now-
sure, muzzle loaders.
They felt that people in the gun industry, because muzzle loaders are exempt from a lot of federal licensing requirements, and that we're skirting and circumventing the National Firearms Act. And
Okay.
because it's a 50 caliber,
Some of them are, yeah.
50, which delivers a particularly lethal 50 caliber round, the report said.
Oh, not just a regular 50 caliber round.
And
Or-
this,
Okay.
you gonna let me finish?
No.
There, Gabby.
It's too funny. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm a GIF.
The weapon is designed, I didn't know this, with a built-in device
Uh-huh.
to suppress its sound, making it silent.
The barrel?
Built-in design.
All right.
And
Mine is quite loud.
if other firearms were built with that, they would be subjected as a silencer.
Okay.
Now, there was... Oh, and I saw... go ahead, Go ahead, Gabby.
Just what I'm thinking about my extremely complex, highly
Sophisticated. Yeah.
muzzle loader.
Yeah.
All the parts and pieces
Yeah.
on that.
500-year-old technology.
Millions of things on there that I
Yeah.
don't understand.
It's like
I'm trying
it's
to
like
think
a Rolex watch inside there.
It's a barrel with a trigger.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where the silencer is.
Yeah. And there was a pundit for this organization that was on one of the Fox programs discussing this very fact and literally said on television that these muzzle loaders are silent. Yeah. He says, imagine if we had the Gateway sniper out there with that single shot 50 caliber muzzle loader. He could shoot people.
One time.
And the other guy's going, well, it takes like 2 or 3 minutes to reload. Yeah, but it's silent. He could reload it and he could shoot just one person after the other because no one would hear it.
Well, listen.
I mean, I swear to whatever I want to swear to, he said that. And
yeah,
the guy
I get
goes,
it.
that's not how it works.
Well, I mean, look, no, there's in the building we're in right now. There's at least one muzzle loader. If we're quiet,
I don't hear it.
Oh,
I hear a lot.
Sounds like a kid.
Kid playing with a muzzle loader
playground up there, but I guess they
co-
are silent. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
So it's getting to the point now where it's like Poe's law, where they would say, "Listen, the only gun you can have is a muzzle loader." Now they want to take that away.
That was the argument, wasn't it? The Second Amendment.
Just talks
we
about
support the Second Amendment, but it was written when all they had were muzzle loaders, muskets.
and we don't care if you have those. That's fine.
Okay.
No, now they want to take that.
Are muskets muzzle loaders generally, or no?
Yes. So, her husband is an astronaut. So
Mark?
I'm
Is his
glad.
name Mark?
No,
Yeah.
Scott.
Scott? Your husband's Scott?
Scott Kelly.
Mark Kelly's not her husband?
That's her twin. That's her brother-in-law.
So she doesn't.
I bet there's stuff going on there.
Yeah.
You know, I bet they played that joke, at least in college. I'm glad his
Not anymore,
DNA.
'cause
I'm
he's-
glad his DNA got screwed up in space.
He's two. That was my joke.
Look
by the
that
way.
up.
And he's 2 inches shorter.
Taller.
Shorter.
Which one?
One of them.
One of them's 2 inches taller. One's exactly the same height he was. Boy. All right. Do you want to go into
I mean, shorter than the other one.
Yeah, one is shorter than the other one, but
Right.
one grew 2 inches in space. But that's temporary. The DNA, they think, well, they're not sure. Is it going to go back?
So all of this DNA testing that we've been doing for years,
It's
you
questionable.
just have to make a case that you
Now-
might have gone to space for a year.
My daughter's in college as supposedly a genetics major. And I told her, I said, isn't that cool? Well, she changes her mind every once in a while. Like art history or something.
Oh, good.
French poetry of the 14th
Are
century.
you serious?
I
I mean,
know.
don't tell her no.
Yeah, well. You've met my daughter.
Yeah.
So, so I said, kiddo, that's kind of cool, the astronaut. I said, why does that happen? She looked at me. She goes, radiation. I said, oh, that's right. Radiation can affect DNA. She's smart.
Well, I mean,
So-
it doesn't take a scientist to know
Well,
that.
apparently not. All right.
Jeez.
Radiation. Hot news just tonight or this afternoon.
What?
The bridge?
Oh, yeah, I
It
guess.
was an assault bridge.
Bridge collapsed.
Yeah. Several dead. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Sad. I don't think we know. You need to get one of those sneeze box things. I don't think we know how many have died or injured, but certainly some. They just put the bridge up like yesterday or
there's-
something. It was an instant
There's cars
bridge.
trapped under it.
Yeah, I know. It's absolute. Are you good? What was that?
It was pedestrians.
No, it wasn't open to pedestrians yet.
No, it wasn't. They were still building the damn thing, but they set it in the last couple of days. I saw the video where they swing it in there.
Yeah.
It's like it's pre-made, and they
It's called-
set it on
It's an instant bridge.
instant bridge. But
Instant.
It instantly collapses.
It's instant and
So-
won't be ready until 2019.
Yeah, that's what I... Now we know why.
It's like when I get my instant oatmeal.
They still
it's,
had a
I
lot
mean, a minute or two, but
They
it's
still had a lot
not
of engineering
year. Yeah,
testing
it's
to do.
Terrible. Whoever
He was a Kettering
I don't know what
grad.
happened. All I'm saying is
the engineer was a Kettering
we need to
grad.
look into the engineers' professors.
His former career as an engineer.
Oh, it was a. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to joke about it.
No, excuse me, but we are going to joke about it.
We were, and I was going to just mention the Zilwaukee Bridge in Michigan.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, you already graduated, so you're safe.
Well, it
You
collapsed
already got your
right when it was
grade.
being built.
Yeah. That engineer, whew, he's probably not working
I
anywhere.
have never.
He's not
I
working
have
anywhere.
never designed a bridge
Yeah.
that failed.
No, nor have I.
That's all I'm saying.
No,
All right, let's move on. Can we
I want to make
let's
the
have a
point
parade.
that the administrator of the schools, the reason they wanted that bridge was for student safety.
Oh yeah, I mean that's ironic, isn't it?
So I think more people were killed now than would have ever been killed crossing the road to go to campus.
Oh yeah, some important news, I guess, for some of us. Stephen Hawking died.
On Pi Day.
Bummer. All right.
But I was told that he was an extreme leftist, and so no one should listen to anything he has to say.
Well,
And he never won a Nobel Prize, so he's worthless.
look, we can't. Did that come from the same person?
No, but
Okay,
in the same
because
thread.
that would have been ironic too. Because everyone's like, "Oh, well, Obama won the Nobel Prize; it's worthless." Not in science, but still, it was a peace prize.
Well, even the former secretary, Geir Lundstad, told the news that the committee hoped the award would strengthen Mr. Obama. Instead, the decision was met with criticism.
What are you talking about? You're just
The Nobel Peace Prize that was awarded to Barack Obama, an ex-secretary came out recently and said he regrets giving it to him,
yeah, I'm sure
and that even Obama thought it was a mistake.
he didn't deserve it.
And the White House says, does he have to come to Stockholm and receive it? Is that common that people don't come? And they said, yeah, the only people that don't come, are the ones that are political prisoners, and they can't get out of the country to come accept it. He says, I guess I have to show up
I
then.
have to be there, yeah.
Huh. What a dink.
The White House, but I don't think Obama thought that.
Oh, absolutely.
He was like, "Oh, I'm on my way."
No, he didn't like it.
No, come on.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, come on. Bullcrap. He's so narcissistic.
He said even Mr. Obama himself had been surprised.
Who said? Oh, maybe surprised. Surprised isn't the same as not wanting it.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to go. All right, so because he knew it was a
The
sham.
point is, yes, Hawking was a leftist. You shouldn't listen to his politics or views on global warming. But if you want to know something about black holes, he might be the guy.
Not anymore.
Or he was the guy.
You could read his books. And the other point I wanted to make with the guy who said, well, you never want to, none of his theories have been proved. For one thing, they weren't necessarily theories; they were hypotheses, and they haven't
It's
been
the same thing.
No, they're not. They haven't been proved yet, right? I mean, a lot of scientists propose things that weren't verified for decades or even
Like
centuries
gravity.
after. Like gravity.
Yeah, all right.
And
Let's
global warming.
Move on.
Let's see.
A couple more things. I don't know. You don't want to talk about the parade? It's expensive.
That's all I heard.
Dick's.
No tanks.
Dick's isn't as solid as they used to be.
Trump is very disappointed. There won't be any armor because they're afraid it'll rip up the streets of Washington D.C.
Well, they're not very good streets then.
They can put on rubberized treads and stuff.
Little booties.
Little boots on each little tread.
Booties for
But no tanks. So what the hell? Why have it then? And other people are saying you could feed a lot of homeless people or veterans and all that with all the money you're going to spend. It's going to be millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. We talked about it in earlier shows. I'm against it.
Yeah.
You're for it.
Okay. Never said that. But,
I know.
I do like
Sporting
military equipment.
Well, I do too.
I like to look at it.
We should go to that antique mall that has a whole stall of military surplus. Our buddy Steve went. He bought a whole bunch of stuff.
It's a long ways away.
Yeah, it's about a mile and a half.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, on foot it is. Crawling on your belly, it would be a long ways.
Well, same distance.
Driving your very expensive car.
Just take longer to get there.
Dick's Sporting Goods is losing money.
Yep.
Let's
But
see
who
what it
knows
says.
why?
Nobody knows. But shares fell 2.5% on Thursday as company reported a comparable store sales decline of 2% in its last quarter.
Wow.
Also, Kroger store.
Yeah.
They're in 35 states. They have 2,700 different stores under different names.
Yep.
They're no longer going to sell basically gun magazines.
Yeah, that's
They
weird,
call it
isn't
assault contest, but then they listed them, and let's see, some of them they're not going to carry guns and ammo, gun magazine, firearm news, military surplus, modern firearms, on target, recoil, rifle shooter, SWAT, special weapons, tactical firearms, gun buyers annual. I mean, geez, gun guide, gun world, and world of firepower,
Did you
along
say
with a bunch of them.
guns and ammo, which is
Yes.
the big one, right?
That's a big one. And you might say, well, no big deal, but it is for these guys that are trying to make a living writing. Big chain stores like that, they don't make much money.
Oh, but look,
Because I know a couple of writers that do, and they don't make much.
You can't
But-
rely on somebody else to sell your products and whine when they
Well,
don't.
You do, because the point of the article was that there's not a lot of magazine bookstores anymore, and so
Because
these
people
are,
don't read magazines anymore, so either
Okay.
innovate or die.
Well, yeah, there a lot of them are online.
And then
Anyways,
you don't need Kroger.
It's a statement, and it's bullcrap.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't do anything
Yeah,
to
it
stop
does
mass
nothing,
shootings or anything.
absolutely nothing. I mean, there may be some dogs that aren't getting hit quite as often with a magazine. That's good. But otherwise, that's about it. Are we taking a break, or we started late, but we're going to have Dean? Is he ready? Is he in the green room?
I don't know. Should I see if he responded to my inquiry, whether he wanted to be on
Are
the
we
show or
going to
not?
just sit here and make people wait while you
You can talk
do
about that
or-
sheriff that left his gun in a school.
What sheriff?
In Michigan.
Oh, there was a sheriff in Michigan left his gun in a school.
Yeah, found by a student.
Yeah, so it was actually in a gym locker
Yeah.
room, I heard. He was there doing something, had it in his bag. It was his backup gun, and apparently thinks when he left it must have fallen out of his bag, and he just left without it.
Yeah, I don't know if it fell out of his
You can
bag.
say, "Meh," I'm saying what he said. I said
Yeah.
he thinks, so you can all you want. Meh.
Well, a lot of cops leave their backup guns
Do they?
in the bathroom because
Nah.
they take it off when they go down and when they sit on the toilet.
It's in a locker room. I don't think it was near the toilet where he was
You
pooping.
have no idea where he was.
I do. It was in a locker.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guessing the locker was in a locker room.
Well, I got a PM from Dean. He says he's sitting with anticipation, and he has a number that we can call. You want to go to break?
That's wrong. Why don't you just say the number
I
over the air?
Well, I want to do a
This is
trivia
his personal-
because
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
it's for our guest. Our guest is also a pilot, and this is a flight trivia question.
How many wings does a typical airplane have?
At least,
That'd be a good one.
isn't there a one-wing
I'm
plane?
not sure.
Yeah.
I
All right,
said
so
typical.
This is an easy one.
Is it 4?
This one was 4. In what year was Australia reached by air from England? So in other words, somebody flew from England
By humans?
to Australia by humans.
Okay, that's good.
What year was that?
4.
And our guest maybe can weigh in on that. So
All right, we'll be right back.
Lock it in. And rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
It's a bumpy ride through the political jungle with Nate and Brian.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-219-8770 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-219-8770 to take your call now. Call 877-219-8770. That's 877-219-8770. Again, 877-219-8770.
Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
The At Odds Show with the greatest political talk show hosts in history, Nate and Brian. And it's sad that they actually believe that. So give a listen because the delusional need love too.
Are you looking for some way cool t-shirts? Check out ChugDug.com. They have hundreds of crazy fun t-shirts like gun, patriotic, and you better believe zombie shirts. At ChugDug.com, you'll find quality shirts at a quality price. All shirts start at just $10 with free shipping over $50. Mention Radio 1 coupon code at checkout and grab a cool 10% off. That's ChugDug.com. T-shirts with attitude.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-755-9290. That's 800-755-9290. 800-755-9290.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
If you like the At Odds Show,
and we know you do,
why not order your very own At Odds t-shirt sizes small to 6XL in a cool black color?
So support our show. Check out the great prices at ChugDug.com or head over to our website, atoddshow.com, and click the link.
And, unlike listening to our show, you won't be disappointed.
And welcome back to At Odds. I'm Nate. That's Brian.
Howdy ho.
I don't remember what the question was.
The trivia question, in honor of our guest, who is a pilot, in what year was Australia reached by air from England?
Yeah.
Do you have any guesses on there?
Yeah, we do. 1947, 1862,
1924,
1409.
Most of those are good guesses.
1792.
That's good. I will say, during the break, our guest got the correct answer.
He did.
He even named the airplane.
He knew it.
So I would tell you it was in 1919.
Wow.
And the Australian government offered a prize of 10,000 Australian pounds, which is about $500,000 in U.S. dollars today, for the first Australians in a British aircraft to fly from Great Britain to Australia. The pilot was Ross Smith, and his brother was a co-pilot, Keith, and two mechanics, James Bennett and Wally Shires. It says here in a modified Vickers Vimy bomber. Our guest says it might be a different one. He's not sure if that one was actually built or could make it. But also, this day in history, of course, the Ides of
we
March.
Don't want to skip that.
44 BC, Julius Caesar. Was I think he tripped and fell going into the Senate.
Backwards?
Yeah, he tripped and fell from all the stab wounds.
Yeah.
And they said that he was stabbed 27 times, and there was up to 60 people that tried to stab him. So of 60 people trying to stab him, and they only got stabbed 27 times, that means a lot of knives went in the same hole. Much like my...
You think so? Or a lot of people missed? Or?
Well, I don't think they actually stabbed him. But I think it's a lot like my targets when I shoot, because I'll shoot 9-10 times.
It looks like you only hit it once.
And there's one bullet in the bullseye, and they all go through there.
Yeah, sure.
The physician who performed the autopsy in 44 BC said that actually only one wound was fatal, and it hit his aorta.
Probably wasn't real difficult to get in there and look around after 27 or so stab wounds.
It was like a glass house. Anyways,
all right.
So what we have is Attorney Dean Greenblatt on the office, or on the phone. I looked at the office there. He's going to talk about the Clio School case and the Van Andel Arena something, and maybe if we get time, his charity he's involved in, not his charity per se, is it? I don't know. We'll find out. But a charity he does fly gifts for is Operation Good Cheer. So we'd like to welcome Dean Greenblatt.
I'm sorry. This isn't Tucker Carlson? My publicist told me that it was the Tucker Carlson show I was booked on.
Well, Tucker's in the control room. He's running the board tonight.
Yeah, he's giving us the reins because he's trying to break us in.
All right. Well, my publicist is fired.
Yeah, I would.
Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So you're an attorney.
I am.
What do attorneys do? No, let's talk a little bit about the Clio school case, because that's the exciting one that's going before the Michigan Supreme Court. You're going to have oral arguments.
It is. It's very exciting. I can hardly maintain consciousness. On April 11th, yes, we're going to be in front of the Michigan Supremes, and both Jim Mikowski, who in this case is representing Michigan gun owners, and myself representing Michigan Open Carry, and Kenneth Herman, will be presenting oral argument, trying to have the Supremes reverse the decision of the Michigan Court of Appeals in both cases.
Now, what's the crux of your argument? Why do you think the Court of Appeals got it wrong?
Well, because I disagree with them. But in addition to that, this is I'd love to argue a case about Second Amendment rights and the Article 1, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution, and the ridiculousness of gun control in general. But this case is not going to be about that. This case is a very narrow issue for the court to decide. What is Michigan jurisprudence on the subject of field preemption? And what that means is field preemption is where the state occupies the field of a particular form of regulation to such an extent that there's nothing left for lesser units of government to regulate. And we've already had a decision on field preemption in Michigan, and that came from the Capital Area District Library versus Michigan Open Carry case back in 2011 is when it started, and we weren't done with it until it went to the Michigan Supreme Court in 2013. But that Court of Appeals in that case determined that, indeed, firearms are extensively regulated by the state, and the state occupies the field of firearm regulation. Therefore, there's nothing left for any lesser unit of government, including district libraries or school districts, it would appear, to come up with any type of regulation.
But didn't the Court of Appeals just reverse that, or ignore it?
They didn't reverse it. The way it works at the Court of Appeals is if a ruling holding is established, and it was in 2012 by the Court of Appeals in that Capital Area District Library case, or what sometimes I call it cattle.
Right.
The cattle case established that we do have field preemption as far as firearm regulation goes in Michigan. Now, that ruling has the effect of, and I hate to throw out Latin, but stare decisis is the term, and it means that let the ruling stand. So in the court's own court rules, they say that once a holding like that is established, and it has to be respected as stare decisis, and if you want to reverse it, you have to have a panel what's called a conflict panel at the Court of Appeals, and a series of Court of Appeals judges need to change the ruling. They didn't follow their own rules in the Clio case or the Ann Arbor case. And as a result, they just decided they were just going to do their own thing. We think the decision was flawed, both in its analysis and in its execution. And so that's why we're at the Supreme Court now.
So the fact that they didn't follow their own process or their own rules, will that make the case easier?
Well, nothing about the case is easy, because as much as I want to sit there and argue the law, we have 6 amicus briefs on the other side, or amici briefs, that are basically touting out, the bloodied bodies of dead children in an effort to appeal to the emotion of the Michigan Supreme Court justices and say, this isn't really a case about the law, it's a case about feelings, and we need to respect the feelings of people, and we need, for that reason, not to permit, or we can permit firearms in a school, we just have to put up a sign saying they're not allowed.
Well, but the court of law isn't supposed to operate on feelings.
No, it's not. So I'm hopeful that the court will follow the law and will have the Court of Appeals reversed.
And what are your odds on that? I know you're a gambling man.
We'll head off to the casino tonight and we'll put it up on the
it's
board.
at least 50-50, right?
Yeah, either they will or they won't.
Right.
Sure. Well, then there's a couple other options. It's like hitting the 00 green on the roulette wheel, where they would remand it back to the Court of Appeals and let them do some more work on it. And there are some people that are placing bets on 00.
Huh. Well, then what happens there?
Good question. They could go back, or they could come up with a conflict panel and then overturn cattle the proper way, and then maybe come back to the Supreme Court then.
Wow. That would be ugly.
And there's some other possible decisions that I don't want to discuss publicly that could make life more difficult for us in the sense of litigating in the future.
Well,
I'll just let the opposing side figure those out on their own.
Yeah, we had Jim Mikowski on last week, and he's...
I'm sorry. How did that go?
Are you sure you're licensed? So, no, it went good. Jim's a good guy. You know he is. And
I love Jim. We have lunch almost every other day.
You said that he spends more time in jail than his clients do, and we mentioned that on the show last week.
That's true. If he wasn't as good a lawyer, then his clients would spend more time in jail.
Right. Yeah. But they're like conjoined twins, these two cases, right? The Ann Arbor and the Clio. The Supreme Court has put those together. What do you call that? There's some legal attorney term for that.
Something Latin, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Technically, they're not consolidated. But in effect, they are. They were not technically consolidated at the Court of Appeals level because they never issued an order using that term.
Okay.
But they were heard at the same time. They were argued at the same time. And the two rulings that were issued in the Court of Appeals were cut and paste.
Yeah.
And that actually helps us quite a bit in the Clio case because there are some differences between the two cases that were not fully explored by whoever was writing the opinion and at the Court of Appeals level that make it obviously an error in the Clio case.
And one thing is that one of the judges on this Court of Appeals was also on the cattle case and was the one dissenting judge on that case. Is that correct?
That is true. The dissenting judge from the cattle case was we believe, the person who actually drafted the opinion in both the Clio and the Ann Arbor cases.
All right. Well, we wish you all the best luck April 11th. Now, do you want to add anything to that, or do you want to talk about the Grand Rapids Van Andel Arena situation? I don't understand that one exactly. So,
well, you're asking me lots of questions. Can I ask you any questions?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if your listeners know, but Brian, you were a star witness actually in the Capital Area District Library case.
I was?
You were.
Yeah.
Were you not?
Huh?
I was. Yeah. I did a good job.
Well, you did an excellent job, and you know what? In preparing for this interview, I actually went back to the transcript for the hearing when you were called as a witness, and it did raise a question for me, and I wanted to ask you about it. If that's okay.
I
don't want to put you on the spot.
I weigh less now than I did then. I was asked that question.
I edited that part out.
Yeah, they asked me that. Well, you're a big guy. How much you weigh?
Well, that was a question. But there were other questions that you did answer, and it was your answer that I wanted to ask you a couple questions about. If you don't mind, just take a second.
Okay, go ahead, Counselor.
So the attorney for Capital Area District Libraries was asking a question, and he says, quote, with respect, I mean, you're kind of a large person. I mean, how tall are you? And your answer was, I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
And then he was drawing your attention to some security guards that were employed by the library who unlawfully detained you, in a sense. And he said, and what's the size of, looking at Mike Thompson, Mike's a large gentleman, you said. He's quite tall, and I would say built fine.
I see where this is going.
I was just wondering.
All right, so
what about his build was fine?
All right, so you caught us. The security guard and I, we hooked up after the case was over, and we're now sharing an apartment downtown. Yeah, well, you get rattled when you're being asked questions.
No, you weren't rattled.
Bam, bam, and no, he was a nice looking big guy. He reminded me of Charlton Heston kind of. He was that big, masculine, alpha male kind of guy. Unlike you, and see, I can play too. But
I'm putting you on the spot. But
sure,
you know what? You did a fantastic job, and it was because of your testimony in that case that the judge actually, in her order, restrained the library from engaging in unlawful searches and questioning of library patrons, which is what they were doing to you because they didn't like your position on political issues.
Right. Did you? Is it also in the record where she said that she had thought I was a very credible witness and really?
Yeah, I didn't think it was necessary to read that.
Damn it. That was the best thing there. All right. Anyways, thanks. So can we go to the Grand Rapids case?
Grand Rapids. That's Michigan Gun Owners and Michigan Open Carry versus the Convention and Arena Authority for Kent County, Grand Rapids, and SMG, a management company.
Okay.
So what happened, if your listeners aren't aware, and why would they be if they're listening to your show?
Right.
There were representatives. I'm sorry.
That's right.
That was rude. MGO and MOC attended the Women's Expo at the DeVos Place for convention. And the facilities management company came by and observed that the attendees of the booth were visibly armed with pistols in holsters, and which was the whole point. The purpose of MGO and MOC being present was to provide information and guidance about self-protection and the use of firearms to protect oneself. But they decided that was against the policy of the DeVos Place and said either you remove your firearms or we are going to eject you, call the police and have you ejected from the facility and have you charged with trespass. The problem there is, again, a case involving preemption. The Convention and Arena Authority does not have the lawful authority, certainly not after the ruling in the cattle case, to create regulations or enforce any of their own regulations against the people who show up there. So the ejection was unlawful. As a matter of fact, in the hearing on the matter in Grand Rapids, which took place in 2016, the other side, the Convention and Arena Authority, acknowledged that they were in error and that they should not have done that, and in fact they had no policy. And they still say they don't have a policy, and yet it's posted on their website, so it's a little bit difficult to understand. That case was ruled in our favor. The judge said that you can't enforce any policy that's greater than state law, and so now that they've appealed that to the Court of Appeals.
So they're appealing it under what grounds?
Well, what they have asked for in their appeal is, number one, that they wanted the Court of Appeals to convene a conflict panel. Now, I don't know that they would have thought of that on their own, but they probably saw in our defensive brief at the Supreme Court, since they cited to it, that we asked for the Clio case to be reversed because there was no conflict panel. So now they're asking for a conflict panel in this case. In addition to that, they're trying to say that they're really not enforcing any laws or regulations. What they're doing is they're enforcing the wishes of the facility lessees. So people that lease out the facility, whether it be the Eagles, for example, or something else, that they're the ones that don't want firearms there. So all they're doing is enforcing what these individual lessees are asking for, and they think they should have that ability to do that.
Yeah. And right now they really can't, and they probably won't be able to. The leasee would have to supply their own security, right, and be the ones to enforce their wishes. The local government can't do that.
Well, I don't know that first of all, the authority doesn't have its own police force. They have their own security force.
Right. But, I mean, as agents of the state or of the local government, they shouldn't be allowed to enforce a leasee's policies.
Oh, I agree.
So, I mean, that's one of the arguments, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still writing it. I might come up with more fascinating defenses.
Well, I hope so. That was snarky. But, okay, well, so what's next with that? I mean, that's going before the Court of Appeals when, do you know?
Well, we're in the phase where I'm drafting a responsive brief to the application for appeal.
Okay.
And it's appeal by right. They get one appellate court to review the decision, so it will be heard by the Court of Appeals.
Okay.
And but I need to write the response and get that filed, and then the other side will have a chance to reply to that, and then the court will set a date.
Okay.
Now, if the Clio and the Ann Arbor case time frame is any indication, it could be 9 months to a year after those pleadings are in before we actually have a hearing.
Okay.
But more importantly, one of the neat things is that we have this Supreme Court case that's going to be heard in less than a month now, and we will have a decision from the Supreme Court. And that decision will probably inform the Court of Appeals' approach to the Grand Rapids case. There are other cases out there as well. There's the Wade versus U of M case that's being followed up with Stephen Doolin.
Yeah.
And let's see, we have other cases. There's a couple other things that are percolating, but nothing at the Court of Appeals level yet, other than those two other cases.
All right, Dean, we're getting on 2 minutes here, so why don't you, if you want, plug your charity, Operation Good Cheer.
Oh,
real quick.
Well, I am on the board of Child and Family Services of Michigan. The largest endeavor under Child and Family Services of Michigan is Operation Good Cheer. Operation Good Cheer started in 1971, and this last year served about 6,000 children in foster care placement. Kids make out a wish list of gifts that they would like for the holiday season, and those wish lists are given to donors who go out and buy those specific gifts. So they're unique to those individuals, and they're purchased, they're wrapped, they're collected and sorted the first week in December, and then they are loaded onto aircraft and flown throughout the state by volunteer pilots and aircraft owners and some corporations. And it's fantastic. It's addictive as heck. People that participate, there's tens of thousands of people that participate in it. Most people don't hear about it because we don't advertise for volunteers. There's a waiting list for donors. There's truckers and pilots and aircraft owners and sorters, and they all just show up the first week in December because they've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for about 19 years, and it's addictive.
Okay. So they have a website. You can go and Google Operation Good Cheer, and I'm sure they take donations, money donations, to help buy gifts.
There's some gifts that need to be bought, and then we also have an entitlement fund, so if kids in foster care want to go to camp or they need to buy a musical instrument for school, then the state does not provide for that, and the money is spent directly 100% for those children.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap.
Go to CFSM.org, CFSM.org, and there'll be information on that website.
And Dean, how can people get a hold of you?
I can't imagine that anybody wants to hear anything that I have to say. So you know what? I don't have a website.
Right.
Okay.
You've got LinkedIn and all that kind of crap. If they Google your name, stuff comes up to get a hold of you.
Yeah, they'll find me. I'm not in jail like Jim Mikowski, but you can find me.
So we want to thank you very, very much for being on the show. You did a fantastic job, except for the middle part. And
well, you guys can edit that out, right?
We sure can.
Just that one part from when I said thanks for having me on.
Right,
Yep.
but Nate won't edit it out. That's just it. Nate will add to it. So we want to thank you and say goodbye and have a great night, and love to have you on again sometime.
Thank you for taking up my impossibly valuable time, guys. I really enjoyed it.
Sure.
Thank you. No
Thanks, Dean.
problem. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So where are we at?
That was good. He went from being my favorite to not quite my favorite to my favorite again.
Yeah.
So he went in there. But
only because he went after me.
Yeah, that was when he was my favorite. All right, we're out of time.
All right, bye-bye.
See you next week. You do it backwards every time now. Let me say mine, and then you say bye-bye at the end.
I did.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.